Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about class 1 cavity preparation. In the beginning, mark the area that you'll be preparing with a pencil. Mark the sulcus, the central groove area, and all the way to the distal pits. And this is how it's going to look like when you're done marking. The burr that I'll be using in this preparation is going to be 330 burr, and it's very important that you know the length of the head of this burr before you start. In this case, it's about 1.8 millimeters. This is especially important to establish the right depth from the beginning, and you maintain that depth throughout your preparation. Now, before you start drilling, make sure that the handpiece or the burr is perpendicular to the occlusal plane. Now start drilling in the central pit area. Advance the burr until about halfway of the burr disappears into the central pit. Don't go all the way in from the beginning. Measure from time to time to make sure that you have established the right depth. Just like I'm doing here, I measured and then I realized that I have to increase the depth. Right after, when you have reached the optimal depth, expand the cavity to the mesial and to the distal. In other words, go proximally in both directions. Then make sure that you go back to that depth that you have established, and then apply the pressure mesially and distally in the direction that you're expanding the cavity to. Once you're done with the central groove, next is going to be preparing the grooves between the cusps, as you see here. Basically going with the burr between those cusps and then connecting or moving back and forth between those grooves. This is going to make sure that I have round and smooth outline. Notice how the cusp that you see, the buccal cusp, the buccal distal cusp is smooth around at this point. And then I'll continue doing the same thing in the rest of the cavity. A very important note here is that I'm applying pressure only towards the buccal, lingual, mesial, and distal as I'm expanding the cavity. The depth is already established and I'm barely touching the floor. Now is a good point to stop and measure the width of the cavity. A suggested instrument would be an amalgam condenser of a known width. Here in our case is 1 millimeter. So we make sure that the condenser fit all aspects of the preparation and that the cavity is not wider than the dimensions of or the width of that condenser. Notice here that the cavity still needs to be expanded in the here at this point, in the mesial aspect of it, in the distal aspect of it, at the isthmus portion. So I go back and drill those areas and expand the cavity, and then I go back and confirm the width of the cavity again. This is just a different angle you see here. Now I still need to expand just a little bit probably. It fits different aspects accurately. There's no gap between the condenser and any of the walls. I might need to expand just a little bit right there, so I went back and I did that. This is how the cavity looks like after making all the adjustments on the width. Now at this point, I will confirm the depth of the cavity. Remember that I was all the time watching the depth of the cavity using the using the burr, the head of the burr, but this is how to confirm that. Notice at the cusp area is almost 2 millimeters. Between the cusps, it's about 1.5 millimeters, and I'm measuring that against all cusps. Next, check the smoothness with using an explorer. There are some areas here that needs some smoothing, especially that area that I'm touching over there. So I went back and did some finishing for the cavity, specifically in that point. Now just a final check for the cavity after it's done. I'm checking the width, making sure that the condenser fit all aspects. This is specifically important if you're preparing this cavity for amalgam restoration. Also, I'm checking the smoothness using the explorer, both on the floor and on the walls. Also, make sure that you measure the distance between mesial and distal walls and the adjacent tooth or the marginal ridge. It should be about 1.5 millimeters in molars and 1 millimeter for premolars. Next, check the depth against all walls, buccal, lingual, mesial, and distal, and it should be in all of those aspects between 1.5 to 2 millimeters. Between cusps, it's typically around 1.5 millimeters. At the cusps, it's about 2 millimeters. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this video was helpful.